Now, this is the finally the Fourier transform of above signal. Okay. Now here, so you can vary n value from minus infinity to plus infinity. Correct? Suppose if n equal to 0, in this expression, if n equal to 0, then what happens? N equal to 0, AC by 2, J naught beta, L of this is 0 means this is also 0, it is also 0. So what do you get? AC by 2, J naught beta, del of F minus Fc plus del of F plus Fc. Okay. Now this is spectrum when n equal to 0. So what is the strength of the spectrum and strength of the impulse? AC by 2 J naught beta. At Fc, at minus Fc. At minus Fc, at Fc we have a impulse whose strength is AC by 2 J naught beta. So suppose if n equal to 1, in the above expression, if in this expression, if n equal to 1, what happens? If n equal to 1, what do you get? AC by 2 J1 beta del of F plus Fc plus Fm plus del of F minus Fc minus Fm. So again we have two impulses. At what value? Fc plus Fm and minus Fc at minus Fm. Whose strength is AC by 2 J1 beta. Okay. Now here I have written as impulse at Fc plus Fm whose strength is AC by 2 J1 beta. Obviously there would be one more impulse at negative side. At what value? Fc minus Fm, which is also having AC by 2 AC J1 beta by 2. This is 0. Okay, like this. So if you take all values of n, you get like this. This is the spectrum of FM signal for all values of n. Okay. Here this is the spectrum finally. So this is a mathematical equation and this is spectrum. Okay. Now in the spectrum I have taken only positive frequencies. Okay. Now how it is? When n equal to 0, we have impulse at Fc whose value is this. Actually this should be AC by 2 J naught beta. When n equal to 1, we have at Fc plus Fm whose value is AC by 2 J1 beta. When n equal to 2, when n equal to 3, so when n equal to minus 1, we have AC J minus 1 beta by 2. N equal to minus 2, AC J minus 2 beta by 2, so on so on. This is spectrum. Okay. So when n equal to 0, when n equal to 0, we have a carrier component at Fc. This is the carrier component. That is the carrier component at Fc. It happens when n equal to 0. Okay. Whose value is AC by 2 J naught beta. AC by 2 J naught beta. Okay. Now here I have drawn the spectrum by assuming the beta value is much more than 1. What is beta is called here? It is a modulation index. Modulation index. Okay. Now, so this is simply the spectrum of FM signal. Now if you observe the spectrum clearly, what happens? It contains infinity number of sidebands. How many? So here this is the carrier component. This is the first sideband. This is second sideband. This is third sideband. So on so on. Okay. We have a infinity number of sidebands located symmetrically on either side of this carrier component. Where are they? They are located symmetrically on either side of the carrier component. So actually, so we call these two as a pair of first pair of sidebands. What do you call? First pair of sidebands. First pair. What are they? Component at Fc minus Fm at Fc plus Fm. Obviously, we call these two as second pair. We call these two as second pair. Where are they? Second pair. What are they? Fc minus 2Fm and Fc plus 2Fm. These two. Okay. Obviously, these two are called third pair. They are called what? Third pair. Okay. So we have a infinity number of sidebands which are located symmetrically on either side of the carrier component. And so now, so what is the difference between each sideband? How much is the distance or difference? Fm. Each sideband is separated by Fm generally. Okay. Now, so this is about spectrum of FM signal. Okay, please remember here we have a how many number of sidebands? Infinity. Is it okay? Right. And one more thing. So here in the graph I have written the amplitude of the sidebands is not same. Okay. So it is decreasing like this. Okay. Each and every sidebands is not having the same amplitude. Okay. So it depends upon what values actually. The amplitude of sidebands depends upon what value? J n beta. Isn't it? Obviously. So what is the amplitude of first sideband? AC J1 beta by 2. Second sideband AC J2 beta by 2. Third sideband AC J3 beta by 2. So on so on. Obviously, each and every sidebands depends upon the value of J0 beta. Okay. As I told you in the last class, so J n beta decreases as n increases for beta fixed, which means if beta is same, as n increases j n beta decreases. So that's what is happening here. So if n increases, obviously these amplitudes of the sidebands also decreasing. Okay, why? Because so generally maybe j2 beta will be less than j1 beta, so on so on. As n increases, these values will decrease. Okay, that's why all sidebands are not having same amplitude, but we have a so many sidebands. How many number? Infinity number of sidebands. So that is the spectrum of FM signal for single tone message signal. Okay, any doubts? Please you can ask me. Okay, you can message me at least. So that is about spectrum of FM signal. Okay. Now, yeah, you can clearly see here. Okay. So this is the n versus j n beta. That is n versus j n beta. Okay. If beta is fixed, beta equal to 1, what happened? As n increases, this is decreasing. Is it okay? So for beta equal to also, as n increases, it increases, after that it decreases. Okay. Now this is one more graph. Yeah. So here from this graph, suppose beta equal to 1. Beta equal to 1. Okay. So when n is more than 2, when n is more than 2, okay, let us take this beta equal to 1. This beta equal to 1 graph. Okay. So when n is more than 2, suppose if n equal to 3, What happened? If n equal to 3, what is the value of this? J, this is almost 0. Okay. Suppose when beta equal to 2, you take n greater than 3. N greater than 3. Suppose n equal to 4. N equal to 4. When beta equal to 2, let us take this graph. When beta equal to 2, this graph. When beta equal to 2, take this graph. Okay. So when n equal to 4, when n equal to 4, what is J2 beta? I mean Jn beta, Jn2. What is this value? When n equal to 4, this is also almost 0. Okay. So what I want to say here is when n is more than beta plus 1, okay, observe very carefully. When n is more than beta plus 1, suppose beta equal to 1, what is beta plus 1? 2. When n is more than 2, okay, suppose you take n equal to 3, what is this curve when beta equal to 1? It is insignificant, which is almost 0. Okay, so when n is more than beta plus 1, then Jn beta is very less, almost 0, almost equal to 0. Okay, you can see very clearly. So I have shared the recorded videos also. You can observe the graph of this Jn beta versus n. Okay, when n is more than beta plus 1, obviously Jn beta will be very insignificant. Okay, very less. Is it clear? Now, so in these expressions, okay, what we can say here is, so I told you already, this graph is for beta is more than 1. If beta is less than 1, what happens? What happens? Can you tell me? When beta is much less than 1. So let us go to the properties of Bessel function. What happens? For small values of beta, we have J0 beta is approximately equal to 1, J1 beta is beta by 2, so Jn beta is 0 when n is more than or equal to 2. Okay. So from this property, what will happen if beta is very small? Can anybody tell me? Okay. So whenever beta is very small, what happened? What will happen? Who will tell me the answer? So when beta is very small, what is J0 beta? Equal to 1. What is J1 beta? Is approximately equal to beta by 2. Okay. So what is J2 beta? That equal to 0. J3 beta, all are zeros. Is it okay? This is the property of Bessel function. But J1 beta is we know. What is J minus 1 beta? What is that? That equal to minus J1 beta. Obviously, what is J1 beta? Beta by 2. So this will be minus beta by 2. So what we can say here is, whenever beta is very small, J0 beta is approximately equal to 1. Approximately equal to 1. Okay. It's approximately equal to 1. At the same time, are you getting my point or not? J1 beta is approximately equal to beta by 2. Obviously, from the property of this Bessel function only, what is J minus 1 beta? That is also approximately equal to minus beta by 2. The rest are 0. The rest coefficients are 0. Why? Because, why? When n is more than or equal to 2, everything is 0. Okay. So only these 3 are important. These are the significant sidebands. These are only significant things whenever beta is very small. So rest of the components are 0. Okay. Now what you can say? So if beta is very small, how does spectrum look like? Can anybody tell me? What happened to spectrum? So we have only J0 beta is present, J1 beta, J minus 1 beta is present. Rest are not present. Rest are becoming 0. We have only one carrier component and two sidebands. It is similar to what? Its spectrum. Its spectrum. What is spectrum if we have only carrier component and two sidebands? What it is called? Okay. So these are the significant components whenever beta is very, very small. Okay. Yeah, that's what I will tell. Okay. One more thing, if beta is very, very small, it is called narrowband FM. If beta is more than 1, it is called wideband FM. So in narrowband FM, we have only J0, J1, J-1 are significant Bessel coefficients. Yeah. So FM spectrum contains a carrier component and infinite number of sidebands on both sides of the carrier. So in the first pair, Fc plus or minus Fm is called first pair. Fc plus Fm, Fc minus Fm. In the same way, Fc plus 2Fm, Fc minus 2Fm. Second pair, third pair, so on so. Kth pair, nth pair. Obviously, so what is the bandwidth of this FM signal? Since it is having infinity number of sidebands, which are separated by FM. So what is this bandwidth? Infinity. Theoretically, the bandwidth of FM signal is infinity. But practically, it is not possible to have a infinity bandwidth. We should do something about it. Okay. But remember, since FM spectrum has having so many sidebands, okay, that's why bandwidth will be infinity. Right? Obviously, it is infinity. Okay. So otherwise, let me take a simple example to illustrate the bandwidth purpose. Suppose, yeah, you take this thing, correct? You take a figure here, correct? I'll take some sidebands. So one carrier component, correct? So let me take some sidebands. Here, and here some sidebands. Okay, right. So this is Fc. Let me take this Fc. This is Fc. This is Fc plus Fm. It is Fc minus Fm. So let me take this is Fc minus 2Fm. It is also Fc minus 2Fm. Here we have a two pair of sidebands. This is the first pair. These two are first pair of sidebands. This is the carrier. And these two are second pair. This is the first pair. Okay. Now what is the bandwidth now? We have a two pair of sidebands. What is the bandwidth? What is the bandwidth now? So from where to where? So this is Fc minus 2Fm to this place Fc plus 2Fm. So what is the bandwidth? What is this difference? 4Fm. Okay. Now in the same way, yeah. So here we say that the bandwidth is, this is very, very important. Okay. Observe this. 2 into beta plus 1 FM. This is the bandwidth of FM signal, practical bandwidth. Theoretically, it is infinity because it is having so many sidebands. But I told you one important thing. What I told you? And I told you, this is very, very important. J and beta is very, very small. That is approximately equal to 0 whenever n is more than beta plus 1. Okay. Otherwise, so if you take the FM spectrum, all bandwidths are not significant. All components are not significant. Some sidebands are very, very negligible. Okay, what happens? So if we keep on increasing the value of n, obviously sidebands are not having much bandwidth. All are not having same bandwidth. It depends upon value of j and beta. Okay, so as you move away from the origin, so the bandwidth, the components are decreasing in amplitude. Okay, so that's why what we do here is we don't take all sidebands, or we don't transmit all sidebands. We transmit only certain number of sidebands which are very, very significant. Okay, what are those significant sidebands? What are the significant sidebands? Sidebands which are number of significant sidebands are equal to beta plus 1. We take only beta plus 1 number of sidebands. We only transmit beta plus 1 number of sidebands. Is it okay? Right? Now, so if we transmit beta plus 1 number of sidebands only, then what is the bandwidth? Obviously, it is 2 into beta plus 1 into FM. Okay. So how it is possible? Just now I explained with diagram. Okay. I am transmitting two pairs. Okay. First pair, second pair. What the bandwidth I am getting? 4 FM. So obviously, it is something like 2 into number of sidebands into FM. Is it not? How many number of sidebands? Significant sidebands? 2. Pairs. We call it in terms of pairs. 2 pairs. So 2 into FM. That is 4 FM. If we transmit 3 pairs, obviously 2 into FM, 6 FM. Okay. If we transmit beta plus 1 number of sidebands, suppose this is beta plus 1. Obviously, what is the bandwidth would be? 2 into beta plus 1 into FM. This is a practical bandwidth of FM signal. 2 into beta plus 1 into FM. Why? Because we only transmit beta plus 1 pair of sidebands because they are significant. Why they are significant? Okay. The reason is, what is the reason? Yeah. When n is more than beta plus 1, j and beta is almost 0. That's why n should be greater than beta plus 1. Which means these beta plus 1 number of sidebands are significant. We need to transmit only those number of sidebands. That's it. Okay. So here I have explained that logic with the diagram. In this diagram, just observe. Take beta equal to 1. So observe the graph of beta equal to 1. Whenever n is more than 2, okay. So whenever n is more than 2, so it is becoming very, very less. It is start decaying. Okay. So whenever beta equal to 2, if n is more than 3, so the graph is decreasing. The values are very, very small. Okay. So don't get confusing with the properties of Bessel function. They are very, very important. Okay. Because in Bessel function we have two parameters. What are they? N value as well as beta value. You must be very, very careful while reading the properties of Bessel functions. They are a little bit confusing, but read properly. Right? So which means we transmit only beta plus 1 number of significant sidebands. That's why the bandwidth will not be infinity. As I mentioned theoretically, practically it will be 2 into beta plus 1 into f. So now here let me define what is beta. Okay. So here, yeah. Here, so let me take this 2 into beta fm plus fm. But what is beta? Delta f by fm. Okay, we know already these things. What is delta f then? beta into Fm. Okay, obviously, what is this beta Fm? Which means delta F. Okay, so this is 2 into delta F plus Fm. This is the bandwidth formula of FM signal. Practical bandwidth. Better to say practical bandwidth. Theoretically, bandwidth is infinity because the spectrum has got infinity sidebands, okay, which are located symmetrically on either side of the carrier component, and each are having a difference of FM. Okay. Now here, so this is about bandwidth of FM signal. It is given by Carson. That's what it's called, Carson's rule. Please remember, bandwidth is given by, this formula is given by Carson. So that's what it's called, Carson's rule for bandwidth. Is it okay? Now here, let me write. So this is for single tone signal. It is for single tone signal. Generally, what is the bandwidth formula of FM signal? That is 2 into delta F plus W into FM. What is this W? What is this? Bandwidth of message signal. Bandwidth of message signal. Here, what is, sorry, FM should not be there. 2 into delta F plus W. Correct? So this is the, so FM I have written FM because if it is a single tone, otherwise you just write W, or that is a bandwidth of message signal. 2 into delta F plus W. Or, so the formula is actually 2 into beta plus 1 into FM. You remember this formula also. It is also very, very important. You must know the bandwidth formula of FM. This is a practical bandwidth or transmission bandwidth of FM signal. Theoretically it is infinity, practically it is not infinity. It should not be infinity, so it is 2 into beta plus 1 into FM. Okay. Yeah. So if for beta is very, very large, what happens? If beta is very, very small, what happens? Obviously, if beta is much, much more than 1. Obviously, what do you say? You can neglect this one. Correct? So then the bandwidth will be approximately equal to 2 into beta into FM. Isn't it? But what is beta into FM? Delta. So that is approximately equal to 2 into delta F. If this is case where beta is much, much more than 1. If beta is much, much less than 1, obviously what do you neglect? Beta is small compared to 1. You neglect beta. Obviously, what is the bandwidth? 2 FM. So this is simply, this is a formula of wideband FM. This is a formula of bandwidth for narrowband FM. Is it clear? So in narrowband FM only we have got 2 sidebands, FC plus FM, FC minus FM, one pair of sidebands. Okay. Yeah. So any doubts, please you can ask me. Yeah, you can ask me or you can message me. Okay. So let us proceed otherwise. Yeah, this is what I have written. So I have given one example to solve it. So FC equal to 10 megahertz, delta F equal to 50 kilohertz. FM I given 3 cases for FM. Then find the bandwidth of FM. What the formula you use? 2 into delta F plus FM. Okay. So the formulas are, this is very, very important formula. 2 into delta F plus FM or 2 into beta plus 1 into FM. Either this formula or this formula. There are 2 ways of writing the bandwidth formula. Okay. That is called Carson's rule. What is the name of the scientist? Carson's rule. Okay, remember this. Right. So let us proceed now. Yeah. So this is very, very important. I have given some values of Bessel function. Okay. I forgot to tell you, don't worry about J and beta. They will be giving you these values per the particular value of n and beta. These are standard tables. What are they called? Bessel function table. From the table, you can get the values of those Bessel coefficients. You don't need to worry about those values of J and beta. In the problem itself, they will give you the values of J and beta. Okay, so don't worry about those values, and you must know the properties of Bessel function. Okay, if you know the properties, that is enough. Okay, here I have given some values of these Bessel coefficients for J naught equal to for J naught beta. I have given some values where this is 0. Okay, when beta equal to 2.4048, J naught beta equal to 0. Okay, so let me tell you, is it 0? Okay, so let me write here. So J naught beta is 0 when equal to 0 when beta equal to 2.4 comma 5.5 so on so on so on so on. What does this imply actually? In the same way, J1 beta is equal to 0 when beta equal to these values. J2 beta equal to 0, these values. J3 beta, J4 beta. So let me go to the properties of Bessel coefficients. I will show the graph also, right? Where, yeah, this graph. X versus J naught X, or beta versus J naught J and beta. Okay, you can clearly observe here. This is J naught beta. It is 0 when this x equal to what? 2.4. Again equal to 0 when x equal to pi find pi. Again at around 8.7 something. You observe this radicular curve. Okay, in the same way, J1x, it is 0 when x equal to around 3.9. Again it is 0 when x equal to around 7. Again around 10. And J2x, it is 0, something like this. J3x, J4x, J5x. Okay, these are oscillatory in nature. All Bessel coefficients are oscillating in nature. This is oscillating now. So it is decreasing, becoming 0, decreasing, again increasing, again becoming 0, like this. These are the Bessel function graph. See, the difference is here, it is beta versus J and beta. This graph is beta versus J and beta, whereas this graph is N versus J and beta. Here the difference very, very carefully. I have shown the two graphs where this graph is N versus J and beta, and this graph is beta versus J and beta. Here is mentioned as X, but it will be beta. X is nothing but beta. Okay. So I given some values for J naught beta. I only given when it is becoming 0. Why? Why it is so important? So here when J naught beta equal to 0, what does it imply? It implies, what it is imply? Carrier component. Why? Because whenever J naught beta is 0, what happens? Whenever J naught beta is 0, what happens? What happens? Whenever J naught beta is 0, obviously there is no carrier component. Which means whenever beta equal to around 2.4, you won't get any carrier component. You only get sidebands. Is it okay? That is the significance of J naught beta equal to 0. Okay. You must remember these values. Okay. You must know when J naught beta is becoming 0. When whenever n equal to, whenever beta equal to 2.4, 5.5, 8.6, so on so on. Just remember this 2.4. So whenever beta equal to 2.4, we are getting 0 carrier component for the first time. Why? Because I told you these Bessel functions are oscillator in nature. Okay, it is becoming 0 for the first time whenever beta equal to 2.4. Again, it is becoming 0 at 5.5. This is for second time. This is for third time. Okay, right. So this is about modulations. Okay, so here we have studied uh, all amplitude modulations. Okay, and we have studied angular modulation, frequency modulation, and as well as phase modulation. Now, can you tell me what is a modulation? Definition of modulation. Having studied all types of modulations, can you tell me what is the definition of modulation? What is a modulation? I want to know what is a modulation. How modulation is defined. In AM, what is happening? Amplitude is varied. Amplitude of the carrier is varied according to the message signal. Okay. Here in FM, this is in AM. In FM, frequency of the carrier is varied according to the message signal. Okay, in FM, in PM also frequency only varied. Okay, so this is the basic definition of modulation. The process of altering the characteristics of the amplitude, frequency or phase angle of the high frequency signal in accordance with the instantaneous values of the modulating wave is called modulation. Modulation means changing the characteristics of the carrier such as amplitude, frequency, phase according to the message signal. Is it okay? So if anybody asks you what is a modulation, you must tell them this definition, because they may not mention specifically it is AM, FM or PM. They may simply ask you what is modulation. It is a process of changing the characteristics of the carrier according to the message signal. Okay, what characteristics are you changing? I am changing amplitude, I am changing frequency or phase depending upon type of modulation. Okay, now so with this we complete all types of modulations. Is it okay? Now so you may ask me questions, no doubts. Okay, doubts, anything you want to ask? Yeah, so I will stop the modulations with this. We'll proceed to another topic. So if you don't have any doubts, let us proceed. Right. Okay. So next topic is mixing. The next topic is mixing. Okay, before that, so let us go with some commercial radios. You might have known AM radios. Okay, they operate from 540 to 1600 kilohertz. You take any AM radio station, it is operating from 540 to 1600 kilohertz. This is the standard operating range of AM radios. Okay, and FM radios operate from 88 to 108 megahertz. See, these are very, very important. You must know the standard operating frequency ranges of AM as well as FM. AM radio operates from 540 to 1600 kilohertz, whereas FM radio stations operate from 88 to 108 megahertz. Okay, you take any AM radio station, it will be from this range only. You take any FM radio station, it will be operating in this range only. These are a standard operating ranges of the both radios. Okay, so this is some of the most famous FM radio stations that we have, like Radio City. It is operating at 91.1 megahertz. Big FM, Red FM, Radio Mirchi, and All India Radio Nizamabad. It is operating at 103.2 megahertz. Okay. In the same way, you can verify the frequency of any station, any FM station as well as any AM station. Okay. So not only that, there is one more thing. That is something called intermediate frequency. I will tell you about this a little bit later, but just remember intermediate frequency. What is called intermediate frequency. We call it as IF. It is also defined for each and every AM or FM. Okay. It is also standard frequency. For AM, it is 545 kilohertz. It is 455 kilohertz. I'm sorry. It is 455 kilohertz. It is 455 kilohertz. It is standard value, you must know. It is 455 kilohertz. In the same way, for FM, what is the intermediate frequency? How much is this? It is 10.7 megahertz. It is 10.7 megahertz. So you must know these values. Very, very, very important. You must remember these values. The intermediate frequency for AM is 455 kilohertz. For FM is 10.7 megahertz. I will tell you the significance of these frequencies a little bit later. Okay, and the operating ranges of AM and FM. So these two values and these two values you must remember. Okay, these two as well as these two. Is it okay? Right. Now, so let us study something called mixing, or it is also called heterodyning. What is called? Heterodyning. Okay, what is mixing? So let us go with the basics of mixing. Okay, here, so what is modulation generally? So modulation means a baseband signal will become a passband signal. Okay, so generally how we do modulation? We take message signal, multiply with carrier, then it is m of t into c of t. So if you do so, frequency is translated. What happens? In the modulation, frequency will be translated. Baseband will become passband. Okay. Now, so let me take with a simple example. Suppose this is the spectrum of message signal m of f before modulation. The bandwidth is b. The bandwidth b. So it is a baseband signal because it is having a significant low frequency content. It is starting from 0. Right? Now, so after modulation, what is modulation? Frequency shifting. Means, so here it is having a center frequency of 0. Then we have shifted by Fc towards left side and towards right side. So here, this is a right shift. What happened? So shifting by Fc, then this becomes Fc plus B, Fc minus B. Same thing you get this side also. Same thing you will get this side also. Here you can clearly observe, by modulating we are shifting the frequency. Here it is centered around 0. Before modulation the spectrum was centered around 0. Now after modulation it is shifted by Fc, that's why it is shifted centered around Fc. It is centered around Fc. Otherwise the center frequency is Fc, here the center frequency is 0. Okay. Now obviously before modulation it's a baseband signal. This is the passband signal. What kind of signal is this? Passband. So far so good, because we know all these things already, right? Now, so what is mixing now? It is desirable to shift or translate all the modulated signals to the new center frequency. Okay. Now, please remember, now we are changing the center frequency of what signal? What signal? Already a modulated signal. So mixing means translating or changing the center frequency of a modulated signal. That is called mixing. Because after modulation, it is becoming passband having center frequency of Fc. Okay, now we are changing the center frequency of this modulated signal. Okay, that is called mixing or heterodynamic. Okay, so we change it to what frequency? Now, so the center frequency of modulated signal is Fc. Okay, again we are doing frequency translation. Okay, now Fc will be translated to IF. What is IF? It is called as intermediate frequency. Now we are changing the center frequency of a modulated signal to new frequency, that is called IF, that is called intermediate frequency. Okay, we know already for AM IF is 455, for FM it is 10.7 megahertz. Those are standard values, they won't change. Okay, which means we are frequency translating from FC to IF. Okay, that is called mixing. Why it is so important? So I will tell you later. Okay, as of now, this is a mixing, changing the center frequency of already modulated signal. Okay? So generally, students have misconception. Changing the center frequency of the message signal is not a mixing. Mixing means changing the center frequency of already modulated signal. Okay, right. Now, how to do it? Obviously, if you want a frequency translation, the best way is to multiply with cos theta. Do you know it now? Okay. Obviously, what do we do? You take already modulated signal. What is that? So already modulated signal. What is that? M of t into C of t. Okay. This is a passband signal. Spectrum is like this, centered around Fc. M of t C of t is a passband signal having center frequency of Fc. Now I want to change that Fc to IF. What I do again? I'll multiply with what? So let me take this. I'm calling F1. It is only for explanation purpose. Okay. What I do here is I'll take M of t into C of t. Again, I multiply with cos 2 pi Fc plus or minus F1t. I'm taking both plus sign minus sign. Okay. So bear with me. What happens? I'm multiplying M of t C of t with again cos 2 pi Fc plus or minus F1t. Obviously, output of this will be M of t into C of t into cos 2 pi Fc plus or minus Fn into t. Correct? Now, so what will happen here? Next, what will happen? This is what? The mixing. Okay. So, now this multiplying, this is called local oscillator. What is called? Local oscillator. LO means local oscillator. So we are again multiplying already modulated signal with a local oscillator, which is having Fc plus Fn plus Fn or Fc minus F1. Now please remember. Okay. Now, so what happens then? Okay, so incoming signal is M of t into cos 2 pi Fct. I am not writing AC here. It's okay. Local oscillator is cos 2 pi Fc plus or minus Fnt. That is called mixing frequency. That is called mixing frequency. Obviously, so output of this mixer is this much. So if you do little bit of simplification, you get like this. Okay. So using a band pass filter, center frequency at F1, and we can remove the extra component. Now the output of the mixer is m of t by 2 cos 2 pi f1t. Okay. So I am doing little bit of mathematics, so you can go through that. Okay. So what happened here? What is input of the mixer? What is the output of the mixer? What is input and what is output? Okay. Input is, what input to the mixer? M of t into C of t. What output? So after this, there is a band pass filter. Anyway, so input is M of t into, so otherwise C, what is C of t? Obviously cos 2 pi fct. M of t into cos 2 pi fct. So this is the input to the mixer. So output of mixer is what? M of t by 2 cos 2 pi f1t. So here both are passband signals only, no change in it. Here what is center frequency? Fc. Here f1. This is called mixing. Center frequency changed from Fc to f1. Here f1 we call it as IF. F1 is nothing but IF only. Okay, IF means intermediate frequency. Okay, so here Fc will be translated to IF. What is the IF value for AM and FM? You know, those are standard values. You must remember. So how we operate mixer? You just take the modulated signal. Okay, again multiply with local oscillator, and after that use some filtering. Some filters. Here we use a band pass filter. Eliminate the unnecessary components, you will get the desired output. So for your understanding, this is the simple mixing operation. This is a mixer. So after getting output, you just use a band pass filter. Okay, you remove the unwanted frequencies. This is what the output of the mixer, simply having a different center frequency. Okay. Yeah, this is the output of the mixer. So the center frequency F1. What is center frequency of modulated signal? Fc. Now this has become this. So F1 is nothing but IF. Is it okay? Right. So this is about mixing. Okay, if any doubts, you can ask me now. Is it okay or not? So if you have any doubts, you can ask me, otherwise we'll stop here.